Okay, the 1000 True Fans strategy. So I'm going to go through this. This is the actual strategy that I went into some detail at the symposium, and each of these steps I'm going to cover separately in a separate episode, but here's the overview. The 1000 fans, 1000 True Fans strategy. So step one, create admiration. To create admiration, you demonstrate competence in any activity that people are involved in. Two, get away from the long tail. I'm going to go into that in more depth. Some of you are familiar with that concept, but you can put it up on Google. The long tail has to do with book sales typically, even record sales. But get away from the long tail and toward high sales. Step three, get more engaged online and in your environment, particularly in the areas of your interest, to get more opportunities to create and find suspects and leads. Establish your social business development activities. Then you create business professional development activities online and in the world. When you establish your social business development activities, they're going to be online and in the world. Next, create value ladders for each activity. Value ladder, we're going to go into more depth about that. Some of you already know what that is, that concept. But it's essentially from something that costs nothing, that obviously has a hook that will be of interest to your suspects and your leads, to prospects ultimately, for your customers, new people, people buying the relatively small, easy to purchase products, or get back engaged with you through those, and also the major products and services that you provide. So you want to create value ladders for those, and it's from something that costs nothing, something that's really easy and cheap to buy, a little bit more expensive, a bigger step, a more major step, and ultimately your major, most expensive services at the top of your value ladder. Next step in the 1000 True Fans strategy is to determine the steps, scripts, stories, pathways, lines, channels into and through your sales funnels. You know, through whether it's online or in the real world. This is you've laid out your value ladders, but now you need a pathway. The scripts you use to move people onto and through your pathway. I know one of the easiest scripts to share with people is that you discuss some of the things you're engaged in, some of the activities you're involved in. Someone expresses interest, and you go, "Oh wow, are we friends on Facebook?" Or I think we're friends on Facebook, right? Yeah, well, I have a group that kind of goes into this and just provides lots of information and links and videos that I create. I should make you a member. And they either add you to Facebook and then you add them to that group, or you're already friends on Facebook and then you send them an ad to that group. Next step, acquisition, ascension, monetization, or meaningful relationships. So you acquire the name, the contact information, or further information, right? You add them to Facebook, you get their phone number, email address. So you're acquiring their identity, their contact information, ways in which you can, their interest in something that you do, and then you want them to ascend, you want them to move up that value ladder, move up through from the basic services, the simple services, up to the more major ones. You know, we talk about funnels, sales pipelines. They can be, people go into the top of the funnel and you've got lots and lots of people, and then they buy a service, a few buy a more expensive service, fewer buy the much more expensive service, and then just right at the bottom, however many number, I mean, it dwindles down depending on how big you start, right? But then it's the most major services. Not everyone who comes in purchases your most major services, but you do want them to get into the funnel and move through it. So whether it's conceptually, they come in through the top and move down into the most expensive, high value products and services that you provide, or you know, they move into and through your sales pipeline, right? So long ways. They start here, they get this product, they get this one and this one, and it's all leading from where they don't want to be, right? In keeping with Frank Kern, what he talks about, you know, where they don't want to be, what they hate, they're trying to avoid, they're trying to get away from, to all the way to the other end, the thing that they aspire to, that they really want, that they dream of, that they aspire to the life they aspire to, what they want to accomplish. And that's long ways. And also you can have it be, they start at the bottom and they get the more valuable service and they move up through the values. So it can be a funnel going down, or it can be a sales funnel going across, or it can be going up from one service to the next through to, you know, an ideal. And there are different ways of expressing this concept, but you get the point. You want them to ascend, and obviously monetization, right? You want them to, you want to build relationships, develop relationships, establish a meaningful relationship, which is in some ways its own category. But you're selling some of these things, giving stuff away for free, selling stuff for cheap, not so cheap, a bit more expensive, much more expensive, and then the high value items. So you're looking at monetization, acquisition, ascension, monetization. You get the most money from the high value, high dollar items. But then also I separated out the specific concept of meaningful relationships. Now, if you're not aiming for meaningful relationships in the first place, I think that's a problem, right? I think if you've got a superficial view of people, if you've got a superficial view of what you're doing with people, that's going to affect your own personal happiness. It's going to affect the way in which you deal with people, the quality of the products you provide, and the efforts you go to ensure that your public, your clients, get the value from what you can provide. You know, if you care about people, you have meaningful relationships with them, then you're going to do everything you can to make sure that they succeed with the materials that you create and you provide. So I always think meaningful relationships is important. I also think, why would you go to the effort to serve somebody who you don't like, who you're not interested in? I just think that's a problem. Do you know what I mean? It just causes more nightmares and headaches and difficulties, and they end up, you know, people that way can sue you or badmouth you, and you know the true believers are going to follow you anyway. But you know, why would you create that for yourself? And it's really just spotting, exposing, and getting rid of what my old boss would call body parts. Next step, and again, I'm going through this whole strategy, all of these steps, one after another, but each video following is going to go into a bit more depth. So the next step, develop the activities you plan to monetize with standard business organization and business administration into bigger and bigger activities and ultimately businesses. So this is using the 7 sections. This is using, you know, the effort, those core pillars that are part of autonomous management, right? Which is getting established, getting better established, right? It's the first major activity. Generating productivity, you know, getting more production, establishing production. So the second major pillar. And then the third is creating expansion, building expansion, getting expansion. And there's all of these tools in between your 7 sections, ways in which you can establish your business, improve productivity, or establish production, increase production efforts, the ways that the production lines, etc. And then obviously the expansion, lots and lots of things, lots of detail there, obviously. Then the next step, you know, this is going to be more for the video, but it's just talking about public relations and promotions kind of being your first more important efforts that you make. Advertising, buying ads, investing in ads, creating ads. You know, that's not necessarily the thing that we're focusing on in the area of creating 1,000 true fans. You know, I'm sure we'll be doing some advertising for sure. But the more important effort is your public relations activities and creating promo pieces, offers, creating target groups or investors or sponsors that they have promotional offers that include your logo, the things that you're doing. There's some sort of a tie-in there, right? And I kind of really want you to focus more on those. When you start moving more into the advertising area and next level stuff, more expensive stuff, then you're probably going to want to. I'm going to want to have you be a client in Parley for that. Okay, so next step in the 1000 True Fan strategy is to use the 8 levels of address in the marketplace. I'm going to leave that for a later video. Create content at the level of leads and prospects, and it's going to be written for the layman, the non-professional, so that they can understand it, and you'd be addressing both how and why you do what you do, providing basic tools to help them have more success and to further demonstrate your competence. Help them move away from their current and undesirable scene toward their goals and dream, and build trust because what you recommend works and helps them. Can't say fairer than that. We'll go into more depth of that, but that's a pretty clear explanation. The last 3 items here have to do with building out your value ladders for each of your major activities, then creating all the content for your products and services from the bottom of your value ladder to the top, and achieving the standard that you can deliver now. This is very important. I just was doing a workshop today. It was the second in the series, second session in the series of activities. But we talked about this, and I was saying, it's important not to get bogged down. One of my customers, was sort of stuck in getting this certain level of quality, and then I said to them, fine, okay, whatever, just create it, get the product and get it out. And this customer was sort of interested and focused on wanting to make sure it was a certain level of quality, and I said, you've given me money, and the content I'm providing you is like on white sheets of paper. I'm speaking to you and working with you, and you're perfectly happy, you're stoked, you get all the value that you want out of it, and it's just not at that high level yet, right? There's no need to feel that you have to move to the highest level in order to get going, and it's the sort of thing that's an excuse not to really do the work and make progress. They got the point. And then this last step is, sure, establish that level, but this last step is increasing the standard of your products and services and the way you deliver them to ever increasing levels, from a handshake membership, which I've done, to VIP level membership packages, delivery and service. So the step before has to do with achieving the standard that you can deliver now, right now. Just create the content, create the value, add the value, create the funnel, the steps upwards, right? In terms of ensuring that you have a full sales funnel, a full value ladder, but at the quality that you can deliver right now. It's very key. But still, prepare for and get yourself set up to move your whole production line, your delivery, to the next level. Okay guys, so that's the 1000 fans, the 1000 True Fans strategy. I've gone through every step in this video. I'm glad to share it with you. A lot of you, I'm sure, are gonna watch this video at a different time, not necessarily live. I do have Kenny here. Good to see you, Kenny. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you get to see the earlier videos. And having gone through the whole strategy step by step, just a little bit, some more intensively than others, the next videos are all going to go into more depth on each one of those points, on each one of those steps of this strategy. Okay guys, remember, the goal is to make your reality a dream and your dream a reality. Have a great night.